Most leaders don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they ignore one system, recovery. In leadership culture, recovery is misunderstood. It's treated like a reward, something you earn after the work is done. But biologically, that model is backwards. Recovery is not the opposite of performance. Recovery is what makes performance possible. Because leadership is not just strategic, it's physiological. The part of your brain responsible for decision making, for clarity, emotional regulation, and for long term thinking is incredibly energy intensive, and it runs on limited fuel. It requires sleep, metabolic stability, and moments of mental quiet where the brain can reset and recalibrate. Without that, those systems don't just pause, they degrade. And the decline is subtle at first. You think a little slower, your patience shortens, your clarity fades. You become more reactive, less precise, more urgent, but less strategic. And here's what makes this dangerous. Most leaders don't recognize it as a recovery problem. They interpret it as a performance problem. So they respond the only way they've been trained to. Let's push harder, more hours, more output, more pressure. But harder work on a depleted system doesn't improve performance. It accelerates breakdown because you cannot outwork biology. And over time, this creates what I call quiet capacity erosion, where externally everything still looks successful, but internally the system is becoming unstable and decision quality begins to decline. This is where the highest performing leaders separate themselves. They don't treat recovery as optional. They treat it as infrastructure. They design systems that protect sleep, not just duration, but sleep quality. They stabilize their metabolic inputs so energy remains consistent throughout the day. They schedule movement, not for fitness, but for cognitive function. And most importantly, they create space. Moments where the brain is not consuming, not reacting, and not processing. Because that's where clarity returns. This is not about doing less. It's about protecting the system that allows you to do your best work. Because leadership is not purely intellectual, it's biological. And if you don't protect the biology, you will eventually compromise the leadership. So the real question is, are you managing your time or are you managing your capacity? Because the leaders who sustain performance over decades don't just push harder, they recover strategically. And that's what protects their clarity, their decision-making, and their long-term power. If this is hitting for you, if you're starting to recognize where your capacity might be slipping, DM me the word strategy. I'll walk you through how to stabilize your recovery systems and protect your decision quality at a higher level. Because once you fix recovery, everything else gets sharper.